Were you as shocked as the rest of the world was by that win on Sunday?
No, because I think I was the only one here that said they're going to win the first game.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, yes.
I was the only one. So I expected those guys to win. Of course, you got to think about Chase wasn't – he was in the hold in. You know what I mean? He wasn't playing. They didn't have rhythm.
He does not look happy there.
Right.
But I assume because he played –
Right.
That they're close to some kind of a
it looked like not that they forced him, but he was like, I didn't want to get hit with. Did you see Hassan Reddick got hit with $800,000 for missing the game? So I think Chase didn't want to get hit with that type of money. Yeah, but he did look miserable through the whole game. Like, I don't want to be.
I mean, I know how you can change his attitude. You know what I mean? Give him his money,
pay him,
and then I mean, you're gonna see somebody happy and jipper, ready to go out there and play. But I felt that this was a prime time for them to get a win at home. And I did say that they were going to win as a team. Yeah. I don't think anybody played outstanding. The numbers don't pop out at you. You know, the quarterback play on both sides. You know, neither one of them did anything but try to manage the game. But when you have a running game, when Stevenson is running like that, when the defense is playing and making those opportunistic plays, you got a chance. But I think in order for the Patriots to have success, they're going to have to play as a team like we did and build the name. Let people look out for you as far as an individual. The individual accolades, they'll come, but you're going to have to win as a team.
Well, then your D's going to have to be like the D we had then. That's going to be the biggest issue where back when we played, obviously, those first Super Bowl runs, the D was carrying the team in the sense like, all right, kept us in games, gave us great field position, and then we did like the Patriots did in the game against Cincinnati, didn't make mistakes.
But you got, you're a secondary guy. Like you're talking about, whether or not Chase was in it or not in it, but you certainly got, I think, a great job when it came to covering him from Christian Gonzalez.
Right.
And then you got a big play from Jones. I mean,
Duggar. I mean, I think their defense is good all around the board. You talk about their secondary. Their secondary solid. Their front seven is solid. The D's going to be the reason why you're kept in games.
Right, and that's solid. They're not great yet because I did see a lot of holes in the defense, but they'll get better. I know they're going to go back on the film. They could be tighter in coverage at times and in certain situations, but overall for the first game, when no one expected them to be in it, you got to give those guys credit.
Yeah.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
What do you think's more likely? The Patriots go to 1-2 or 3-0? Do you think it's more likely they're able to beat the Seahawks and Jets, or do you think it's more likely they lose both of those games?
I think they'll beat the Seahawks. We'll see how the Jets play next because I seen something in the Jets. Maybe they can take advantage of that and run the ball because they have a defense. They can get after the quarterback. So I don't know how the protection is, but I really do think that with this momentum that they can go, 2-0. I really see that. So we're already halfway to what the after this week to what the predictions are, what Vegas says the Patriots are going to be.
Did you listen to Gerard Mayo yesterday with us at all?
No, I didn't.
Because he was I found it very reassuring that he said, we can't get too overhyped over that win. It was week one.
It wasn't pretty.
No, and he said that they still have a lot to work on. But my biggest takeaway was that they were able to get it done on the road. So now they come home. They've got Seattle coming to them. Different game week. Will that be easier for them in front of?
I think it will be easier for them because they got a win under their belt. And right now, what do they have to lose? Because everyone is expecting them to lose every game. So it's really no pressure when it comes to the outside, where all the pressure is what you have amongst your teammates and yourself, to go out there and perform. So I think they're going to come out ready to rock and roll and looking forward to proving that all the experts wrong about this is the type of team that we are. And I think, again, I still think they're going to go at least 500, in my opinion.
What did you see from Jacoby Brissett?
He's a great game manager. Like I said, no touchdown passes, was not even 200 yards. But when you can rely on the defense and the running game, he did what he was supposed to do. They didn't ask him to put the game in his hands. It's going to be interesting when he has to put the game in his hands. We can have a better assessment of what Jacoby Brissett is, and I think that's where all the criticisms and the praise is going to come when you have to go out there and win the game. If you go out there and win the game, when asked to win the game, you probably won't be hearing nothing about Drake May. But if you go out there and stink up the joint, now everybody's going to start calling, hey, man, bring the young guy in. You know what I mean? So he still has to perform, but he hasn't had to in the first game.
Right, and that's ultimately going to be the biggest thing. Seattle, they're a solid team. They're going to run the ball with Kenneth Walker III. I know he's banged up a little bit, but it's going to be when the game gets to the point where maybe you're down 14-3 and you have to throw the football. What can Jacoby Brissett do? That like for me, that's the biggest thing that I'm waiting for, because based off of his performance, I mean, like, those are high school numbers. Like,
well, you brought it up earlier and said that Hunter Henry bailed him out.
Yeah,
I mean, the result would have been different.
Right. So imagine he throws that interception, right, and you lose this game, and your defense plays good. Aren't we sitting here going, all right, when's Drake May getting in there?
Yeah.
So just from one, or even if I can't remember, it might have been Jonathan Jones who makes the play on the tight end who knocks the ball out when they're going in to score. And we sit there and go, oh, that's that one play right there, or the fumble from Cardona.
Duggar knocked
Duggar, sorry about that.
Duggar,
Yeah. Right? So he knocks the ball where we're sitting there and going, okay, the D played good, but the offense ran the football, but they can't throw. We're going to sit there and go, well, when do we think you see Drake May? Because based on everything else, good defense, you can run the football. Now we just need a quarterback that has
16 points isn't going to get it
No.
done week to week.
And we've seen that here for the past couple of years, where we go, the defense looks good, but Mac Jones offensively just can't get it done. And so now those are going to be the biggest questions that I think we're going to ask ourselves in the next couple of weeks. Even if they are like squeaking out wins here and there, it's going to be like, well, what happens when you got to throw the football?
Exactly, and this also says, okay, who do they have on the outside? Who is he throwing the ball to? I mean, you tell me somebody that scares you with the Patriots as far as receiver. You know what I mean? I don't think any decent DB is looking at it as like, oh, I got to get ready, or circling the Patriots. If anything, you're circling the Patriots saying, I'm going to make a play. You ain't worrying about it circling. It's like, okay, I got to study it harder this week because I'm playing against, Marvin Harrison, Randy Moss, or, things like that.
Gerard Mayo said yesterday on this show, they're always going to be a run team, run first and foremost, and go ahead and try to stop us. So that's
well, that'll only take you so far, because defensively, Ty will tell you this: if you're a team like the Patriots and Ty's the defensive coordinator, he's probably saying stack the box and make Jacoby Brissett beat it.
Cincinnati most likely knew they were going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't able to stop it.
And that's true. And and I just don't understand how you don't always have a free rusher and saying you got to beat me with Jacoby Brissett.
Well,
exactly.
And Gerard said that Ramondre was tired by the end of it. He had lost steam by the end of it. Talk to me week 5.
Yeah.
Imagine how tired he's going to be then.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to have to put the game in the quarterback's hands and tell them to go win it, because, like you said, Wiggy, they're going to stack the box. Okay, once I stack the box, you're going to have opportunities on the outside. My fear is no one on the outside is going to be able to make the play. I would have loved to see them get Brandon Ayuk. They offered him a lot of money, but he chose to stay. It's everything. But you need somebody. It ain't like you have all the protection and you have a Tom Brady to make those decisions, and you don't have to have a Pro Bowl receiver. You don't have to have a big receiver. As soon as you get a big receiver like a Randy Moss, you see what Tom Brady was able to do. But that's a whole different category. You need somebody to make that quarterback better right now. And I don't think that they have that on the outside, at least not right now.
And I don't know, and it's tough to see what the kid Jalen Polk is. He's your second round pick, a top second round pick, and we've seen what some of these wide receivers can be productive. There's Garrett Wilson was productive his rookie year. There's plenty of receivers that are productive their rookie year. We saw it with second rounders in Deebo Samuel and the guy you're getting ready to see this Sunday in DK Metcalf. So is it? You have a pretty good receiver, but you don't have a quarterback that can get him the football.
And all the receivers you named, they had a quarterback. Playing like Russell Wilson. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level. At the time, he was Russell Wilson. So, yes, look, you have Aaron Rodgers. You have all these quarterbacks that can get you the ball, that's giving you the placement, that's working with you. But when you have someone not as seasoned and playing spot duty like that, like he has throughout his career, and like I said, I'm not saying anything negative against Jacoby Brissett, but he's not in the same ballpark as those other guys when you're talking about quarterback play.
Are you giving Aaron Rodgers a pass based on what you saw last night because he hasn't played in a year?
You know what? He's going to be a little rusty. I mean, regardless of the experience that he has, you still have to go out there and play football. So he threw some passes out there. I was like, oh, that's old Aaron right there. You know what I mean? He was able to, put it in there like that.
Like the
but
free play or whatever.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, just his ball placement, and the zip that he has on the ball. You give him another, couple weeks, he gonna be ready to rock and roll. But you're gonna be rusty. I don't care how good you are. When Michael Jordan left the game, the greatest of all time, when he came back, he wasn't the same Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? So you gotta think about this game, and everyone's prepared. You have to continue to play the game.
I mean, did he look? He looked 40 years old last night.
I mean, we saw a quarterback play into his mid-40s, and we thought, oh, that's the new normal. It's not easy.
No.
And what Aaron Rodgers looks frail. Like, it felt like Tom got older, but he got stronger. Aaron Rodgers looked like thin, like gaunt.
Well, you got to understand, Aaron, though, the thing about Aaron Rodgers that's going to take him some time, he's coming back off an Achilles.
Right.
That's like one of the worst injuries you can have as a football player, that it just seems like it takes forever. And at that age, it's going to be he not only does he have to knock the rust off, like Ty said, he now has to get over the mental hump of like, all right, my Achilles is fine. My Achilles is fine. My Achilles is telling himself.
Greg, Wiggy does mental humps.
I've never dealt with like a serious injury like that, but I played with guys that
I have.
Then mentally you got to get over like it's fine. You're not going to re-injure it, right?
I mean, it's very hard because you still feel it. Any little thing that you might normally feel, when you feel it in that injury, it's going to play on you a little bit. When I broke my foot, just coming back off that, any little thing that I felt that was not perfect, it played on me. You know what I mean? As far as how I'm going to break and how I'm going to move, things like that. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, the difference between him and Tom Brady, when Tom went down there, he made sure he brought his security blanket. He going to get Gronk. When Aaron is in New York, he really has nobody. You take like Lazard, but that's not the same.
No, he's got the kid Garrett Wilson, who's good.
Exactly, but you still have to get to play with him.
Right.
As soon as you get to play him, you only got to play with him one game, and you're out. So you're starting all over again. So Aaron is coming into a totally different situation than where Tom went into. You know what I mean? They had a set team. All they needed was a quarterback.
Right.
New York needed a little more than just a quarterback. Everybody said that's all they need is a quarterback. I call that a bunch of crap.
Right.
They needed more than just Aaron Rodgers. And I think that they loaded up and they got some more talent. Now let's put it together. But you can't expect Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers right now.
Yeah, I think it's more about the defense.
You still think that's a top 5 defense?
I think so. Even though, they did get run all over, though. They got ran all over. I don't maybe I'll chalk this one up to San Fran's a good football team. Shanahan, and I know Shime loves him. Shanahan does a great job with dialing up plays. Because this kid, Jordan Mason, came out of nowhere, and he looked legit. And there are holes in everything that they were able to open up for him. So I'll give them a pass in week 1 because it is a very good 49ers team. But my expectations are with the Jets defense, I think they were like top 5 last year. That's where you expect them to be. So let's see what they do. They got Tennessee this week. Then we'll see them in a couple of weeks. Let's see what they look like if they clean up some of them holes.